Good morning. Welcome to week 3. You can see that your reading is listed for you here, that you're reading chapter 4 in Strategic Planning for Public Relations and in PR Practice chapter 6. There are a couple of videos that are important this week. This one particularly, PR Goals, Objectives, Strategies, and Tactics, is very important. And I'd like to explain a little bit to you about the importance of delving into this and breaking it apart and kind of going deeper into each one of these. Goals are an overarching statement. So say you had a campaign to build support for autism awareness. You would set a goal that might say to impact the community so that 90%, or well, actually the goal would just be to bring awareness to autism in the community. That would be the goal. The goal is just an overarching statement. So it's kind of lofty. It's kind of out there that we are just saying what we'd love to accomplish. You know, in a perfect world, we'd love to do this, to bring awareness or acute awareness or great awareness to the condition of autism, or to gather support for autism, some kind of a statement that's just a lofty goal. Now, an objective in the world of public relations needs to be very specific and measurable. And I am referring to this because as you read, the textbook isn't going to cover every. It's not like some of our writing assignments are cookie cutter. You have to kind of discern from what you have read and the videos that I'm posting and my lecture, the material that you are going to use in your answer to some of these questions. And the reason I bring that up is our writing assignment this week, write a 2-page essay on the importance of establishing goals and objectives in PR, is similar to the one last week, but it's breaking apart more the difference in the goals and objectives. And that's what I'm looking for in your answer, to see that you understand that. So I'm going to explain it to you here. I'm also going to put a note in this weekly folder so that you know it's important to listen to my lecture. And that way you'll gain that understanding. So let's just go over it again briefly. A goal is an overarching statement. So it's a statement of being. It's how you would love to see things. So perhaps it would be to bring awareness to the community in Riverside of the importance of conserving water. Okay, that's just a statement out there saying this is what we'd like to do to bring a greater awareness to residents of Riverside about water conservation. So you would craft that and perfect it. But then the objective must be measurable, which means it needs to have a number in it. So in other words, let's go with that scenario we mentioned about water conservation in the city of Riverside. So I would craft something that said to reach 80% of the residents by email and have them complete a survey that demonstrates their knowledge of water conservation within the city of Riverside. So what is different about the goal and the objective? I have said that we want to do this by 80%, or to increase awareness by 80%, or by 25%, or 10%, whatever it might be. Why is it important to include a number, which is usually a percentage in your objective? Because the importance in PR comes from measuring our campaigns. We have to be able to measure, to take this information to the C-suite, to the leaders, to the chief executive officers, to the presidents of the university, to the owners of the business. And if we can't measure it with a number, sometimes they don't understand it. Although so much that we do is not measurable with a number. We build goodwill, and we build reputations, and we conserve the reputation by handling a crisis or issue in an effective way. But you can measure it by using a survey. You can measure it by counting, or by, say you were as simple as bringing in more inquiries about our service that we provide. Well, you can measure the phone calls that come in or the email inquiries that come in. So there are ways to measure. And I do you a disservice if I don't bring this home, because a PR practitioner who will talk about a goal and an objective and interchange them shows that they are not an expert in this field. when you take the APR exam, the accreditation and PR exam, which I have taken, which is very challenging, you need to be in the business 5 years to qualify to enter the preparation process to become an APR or an APRM, which is APR for military. So if you have, and then you go through a rigorous study program of many books, and you really learn the PR language and the way that high level PR practitioners speak and operate. So in that case, if you mistake a goal and an objective, it shows that you are not as experienced, and it may prevent you from getting a high level position or work on a high level project. So let's just say a brief definition of each of these. A goal is an overarching statement of being, of what you would like to accomplish. An objective is a measurable statement of specifically smaller chunks of what you want to do. And you may have 2 or 3 of them for a campaign. A strategy, think about in the military, a strategy is kind of a plan of what you want to do to get there. And a tactic is very basic. It could be create a flyer, make 10 phone calls, create 3 blogs that discuss this issue. So a tactic is something that you can do today. That's a good way to think of it, as a tactic. You can do it right now, today, this hour. A strategy is more of a plan of what you're going to do, planning tactics. An objective has a measurable piece to it, and a goal is an overarching statement. Now, this video will also explain that. Your reading material, it's not as, like, I just have to let you know that the discussion boards, the discussion boards in this course, they are tied to the textbook because you're choosing a topic. But the reflective essay is more you gleaning the information, whether it be from my lecture, from the resource materials, somewhat from the textbook. It's more you putting it out there. And I'll tell you, if you wrote about goals and objectives and you didn't talk about the measurable component of objectives, I would give you feedback that says that. And this is all part of, since my master's is in education, I really understand the science of education. And as you study through material and deal with it and, handle it and kind of just use the rigorous assignment to wrap your head around it, this is how this material will make its way into your long-term memory. So that's why we're dealing with it so specifically. So I will give close feedback on this reflective essay. Now, also, I know you're working on your case study, which is due week 6. I've given you an example here of one that you can take a look at. And let's look ahead to week 4 since I have you here so that you can kind of plan ahead for that. One thing I would like to say is I tend to record fresh lectures on the weekend. Sometimes I have one that's, rich in content from a previous class that I post, and I'll tell you this is from a previous class, but I like to wait till the weekend because sometimes there's something that comes up in the media that so impacts what we're studying. I like it to be fresh. And also I like to check the pacing, how we're all doing, check for understanding. So if you go on Friday and look ahead to the next week, you may not have the most current information because it usually goes up Saturday or Sunday. But always feel free to ask me questions about it and I'll let you know that. So here is your week 4. You've got a discussion board. You've got another essay, and then you have a midterm. And these midterms are open book, but they are not collaborative, so that you can use your textbooks to refer to. And we're looking for about 500 words each answer for each one of these 4. So what I suggest you do is copy this out into a Word document and work on it during the week when we get to week 4, and then you can just copy and paste it back into the midterm area. In fact, while I'm mentioning that, let me tell you that I prefer when you copy and paste it into here because it's easier for me to grade and make comments. I will accept it if you attach it, of course, but if you can copy and paste it, that's the better way to go. And these rubrics are a general guideline. Of course, I work with you, and so the rubric isn't, ruling everything, but it is a general guideline. So let's go back to our week 3 4-step process so you can take a look at this. This actually shows the RPI process, which involves research, planning, implementation, and evaluation, which is assessment. So this is a diagram that kind of shows what we're dealing with that. But it is important in the field of public relations to break it down and understand the very specific differences between goals, objectives, strategies, and tactics. So I hope this helps you. And should you have any questions, please reach out to me. Any prayer requests, want to chat, I am here to help you, and I am here to pray with you and pray for you. So God bless you. Have a good week.